A campus that looks grown more than built. Bronze leaf awnings, living bridges of woven roots, lecture domes like seed pods under a pale sun. Species from a dozen worlds flow along paths. Fur, scales, carapace, silicon skin, and a scattering of humans in grease-smudged jumpsuits. A resonant bell wave ripples the air, felt more than heard. Super, Rook Academy. Xenobehavioral Science, SINT. Lecture Dome, B7. Continuous a circular amphitheater. A smart mesh floor over a recessed demo pit. Above it, hollow panes, pulse graphs, scent trees, a paused clip of a roaring apex predator. At the dais, an avian professor in ink-dark plumage taps the air. The hollows fold into the academy crest. Professor Field Practicum presentations begin tomorrow. Each of you will bring a specimen from the assigned classes. Today's prep, predator cues, and protocols. No weapons, no restraints unless mutually agreed, nothing wider than our corridors. You will show, not tell, how your peoples negotiate danger into agreement. Uneasy chittering, a few excited trills, high in the tiers, a human, Lida, late 20s. Hair braided with cable ties, jacket-patched habitat systems, maintenance co-op, scribbles a plan into a battered tablet. XT basalt flats, afternoon heat ghosting off dark stone, low caves, scrub, dust devils like spun glass. Lida hikes with a portable biothermal panel folded to a sleek rectangle on her back. A field brief glows faint on her tablet. Assignment, predator, juvenile or small, ethical handling. Site, run break dens, permit filed. She stops well short of a cave mouth, sets the panel against a boulder, powers it. A low, flawed heartbeat fills the silence. She lays down a pouch, smoked tubers, a stripe of synth meat, a roll of reed mesh. Then she sits on her hands and becomes part of the landscape. From the cave, two glints. A head emerges, rounded ears, ember stripes, eyes like polished coal. A second follows, white notch in one ear. Sarin cubs, paws promise speed, teeth promise autobiography. Lida, just breath. Hi there. No reach. No whisper beyond a body's slow yes. The boulder kit creeps to the panel, taps it, startles at warmth, returns to sniff human salt. One needle paw in her jacket seam, then another, climbing the way life climbs light. The sibling shadows it, chirping a soft purrt. Lida tilts her head, offering shoulder. One flops into the curve of her neck, the other scrambles the opposite side and stands king tall, tail vibrating. She unrolls the reed mesh into a shoulder perch, a hammock sling that leaves her hands free. The kits balance like sailors tasting deck. Up on the ridge, a darker shadow pauses. An adult Sarin, muscle and patience, watches. Lida lifts an open palm, then taps. Heat, food, no weapons. The adult's ears tip forward. The cubs knead Lida's collarbones, thrumming. Lida, to the shadow, back by sundown. The shadow answers with a knot growl that translates to remember. NT, dorm pod, night narrow bunk, tools in tidy chaos. The biothermal panel leans like a sleeping door. The kits are draped over Lida's shoulders, noses almost touching, purring a matched engine. Lida dictates into her tablet while assembling demo slides. Lida, recording. Observation, 0.9, 1.3. Hertz variability calms, perfectly regular beats agitate. Observation, juveniles echo heartbeat with vocal microclicks and correct until matched. Protocol note, returning before dark. Consent, juveniles chose contact, adult allowed proximity, reciprocal return required. She smiles, surprised by the shape that makes in her face. Int. Lecture Dome, B7. Next day. The pit holds a zoo of homework. Velvet-mouthed slug in a terrarium, juvenile raptor in a hood, mosaic eel in a travel tank. A sign by the door reads, "Predators enter left. Do not smell like panic." The door sighs, conversations stagger and fall. Leda walks in, steady as moonlight. Reveal. Two sarin cubs draped across her shoulders, one per side, tails like punctuation. No cage, no pole, no darts, only the folded panel and a hip pouch. The professor's crest rises an elegant centimeter. Professor Human. Your species does enjoy an entrance. Leda, honest. They refuse to ride anywhere else. Laughter loosens the room. The smart mesh ripples to receive the panel. She props it upright, the heart hum blooms. The kits knead, then orient outward, alert and untroubled. Professor. No approach until invited. Ms. Leda, proceed. Leda. This pair is 6 to 8 weeks. Run break lineage. Parent consent implied by proximity and non-interdiction. They return home today. A murmur at implied. Leda gestures to the panel. Leda, Kant. Predator comfort isn't the absence of threat. It's the presence of something stronger than threat. Heat, rhythm, predictability. A sarin den hums like this because basalt remembers pack heartbeats. She flattens the rhythm too perfect. The kits lift heads, tiny frowns. Leda. Perfection says machine. Life says drift. She adds micro-stutter. The kits melt back, one tucking paws under, the other booping her jaw with ceremony. Professor demonstrate a boundary. Leda boundary is breath first, posture second, sound last. She reclaims a thumb's width of neck space with a slow shoulder turn. The kits take neat half steps, claws never pressing. She exhales a ceiling-high shh. Exploration pauses, attention blooms, growl, horn-plated student. What keeps them from biting your face? Leda, half smile. Bite inhibition is a den lesson. Handle too young and you become the lesson. With teeth. These are den trained. I'm furniture they chose. A chime. Security steps in with a compliance bot whose torso is 90% clipboard. Security. Professor report of live sarin without containment permit. Compliance bot. Announcement. Section 4.7 mandates stabilization harness, or the notched ear cub gives the bot an affronted squeak. Leda stays loose. Professor Officer may remain and learn. Ms. Leda, meet 4.7 by demonstration or we adjourn. Leda containment exists. It just doesn't look like a cage. She kneels, lays the panel flat. The kits ride the slope like practiced luggage. Leda extends 2 fingers toward the rhythm. Tap, tap, breathe. She drapes a light cloth over both backs. Shared cape. Leda, containment cue. Cover, plus heat, plus rhythm, plus voice. She murmurs syllables with weight. The kits puddle under the cloth. Purrs deepening. Leda. You don't stop a predator. You give it somewhere better to go. The security officer's shoulders unhook by a centimeter. The bot's scroll slows, confused by mercy. Leda. 3 volunteers. 1 mammal, 1 non-mammal, 1 synthetic nervous system. Follow directions exactly. Down to the pit come Grohl, horn plates, Zira, manted slender arthropoid, and Trev, synth-born with fractal pupils. Leda, to all. Rule 1, hands below head height. Rule 2, move like a tide, not a knife. Rule 3, if they test you, you pass by stillness. She beckons Grohl first, Leda, to Grohl. Kneel, palm up. Exhale for a count of 4. Grohl kneels, breathing slow. Leda lifts the cape. 1 cub steps onto Grohl's palm, weight like a determined loaf, sniffs horn plate, licks salt, and plants both forepaws on the broad chest. Leda do not pet. Let the newcomer do the verb. Grohl's grin cracks his caution. Leda, to Zira. Extend your lower right arm. Open scent fans. Sing your species' neutral triad. Zira unfurls filigreed fans. A bell glass cord shivers. The cub swivels. Answers with a tiny trill, then presses cheek to chitin. Leda, to Trev. Drop your skin to baseline temperature. Pulse variance at 3%. You can do that? Trev's pupils tessellate. A faint subsonic whum as their haptics modulate. The second cub steps onto Trev's forearm, startled by the smoothness, then relaxes as Trev adds micro-ran to their pulse. Trev, awed. They like error. Leda, they like life. A ripple of wonder moves through the dome like wind through tall grass. The professor flicks a claw. The environmental system pops a compressed loud from a ceiling speaker, a simulated dropped crate. The room flinches. The kits startle. One clutches cloth. One climbs Leda's shoulder to higher ground, jaws parted in a tiny O of indecision. Leda, calm, to class. This is the moment you earn trust. She squares her shoulders so both kits can reach her collarbones. She does not shush with voice. She shushes with body. Shoulders the shape of a hill, breath the shape of a door. She taps the panel into a slower, deeper pattern. The flawed heartbeat answers the room's spike. The kits look at her face. She keeps her eyes soft and slightly averted, the primate opposite of a challenge. In 12 seconds, the purrs restart, a half key lower. Leda, quiet. You don't teach calm with words. You infect it. The professor's crest smooths. Security exhales a laugh he wasn't planning to have in public. A raised hand. Nala, aquatic student in a mobility shell. Nala, how did you get consent? From the adult? Leda, I stayed outside the line where scent turns from home to edge. I showed heat, food, open hands. The adult watched. When the cubs chose me, the adult didn't interrupt. That's consent enough to visit, not to keep. Another hand. Kill. Legal studies. QIL. And if the adult had intervened, Leda then class would have seen me walking in. Without a demo, ethics outranks grades. The professor nods once, a ceremonial good answer. Professor integrate. What is human about this protocol? Leda beat. Chooses honesty. We are a species that survived by borrowing other species' courage. Wolves at our fires, horses at our flanks, dogs in our beds, cats in the barns, even pigeons over our trenches. Our trick isn't sharper teeth. It's making comfort portable and contagious. She pats the panel. Leda can't. This is a box of portable pack. It's rude to bring it without asking. It's ruder to refuse to share it afterward. Trev, soft HFY but quiet, smiles. The professor lets the sentiment stand. The bot steps forward again, more tentative. Compliance bot query. May Section 4.7 be satisfied by functional containment in lieu of mechanical? Propose addendum. Containment may be thermal rhythmic covering combined with handler breath protocol. Security, grinning. That reads better than most laws I write. Professor, draft it. Credit the demonstration. The class murmurs, this is how law grows, out of a shared breath and a good idea. Leda invites the first 2 rows to file past one by one, hands low. Each student receives a roll. Observers count breaths per minute on the overhead hollow. Scribes tag each approach with species, temperature, gesture. Signalers monitor the cub's tail angle and ear set. Calling green, amber, red. A tiny student with quills whispers a greeting. The notched ear cub answers with a chirrup and plants a paw on the quills, impressed. A reptilian with cool blood pauses. Leda nudges the panel warmer and the cub sinks down, satisfied. A silicon-based visitor hovers without scent. Leda has them hum, a pure sign. The cub's ears spin like dishes, delighted. Data projects live. Not a circus, a lab with feelings. Leda. Final lesson. Predators remember beginnings and endings. We close the encounter before they tire, not after. She stands, letting the cape slide into her hands. The cubs climb their familiar perches, one shoulder each. She powers the panel down in stages, never abruptly. The room hushes in sympathy, like turning pages carefully. Leda, to class. You say thank you with your exit. She bows her head to the professor, to the security officer, even to the bot. The class, many cultures, many ways, mirrors bows, antenna dips, ear flicks, light pulses. Professor, return your guests. We will reconvene for debrief, EXT. Basalt flats, dusk sky coppering. The cave mouth already telling night. Leda kneels at the same respectful distance. The panel hums the den's note for home. The adult Saren appears, silent as truth. The cubs chirrup and flow down Leda like poured stripes, race 3 body lengths, then both look back, checking, before disappearing into the cave. Leda, to the adult. Thank you. The adult descends 2 steps farther than last time, breathes close enough to ruffle hair, touches Leda's forearm with a whisker-light nose. Not affection, not threat. Acknowledgement. Then turns and is gone. Leda powers the panel off. The silence doesn't feel empty. Int. Lecture Dome B7. Night charts glitter. Heart rate synchrony curves, tail angle to approach speed correlations. An overlay of panic probability versus handler breath variance. Students report, growl. I felt my shoulders drop when the rhythm staggered. Like a song that forgives you for not knowing it yet, Zira. We tuned chords. It is possible to duet with fear until it sings harmony. Trev. Adding noise to my pulse, read as alive. I will keep a little chaos. The professor summarizes with taloned precision. Professor findings. 1. Flawed rhythm outperforms perfect in calming sarin juveniles. 2. Breath-led posture sets boundary without force. 3. Functional containment, cover plus heat, plus rhythm, plus voice, is compliant and kind. 4. Ending early preserves trust. Security. Also, I'm rewriting our field manual. Compliance bot drafting addendum. 4.7a class laughs. A few clap montage. Medbay. A panicked spacer lies rigid. A nurse plays the flawed heartbeat. The tech mirrors Leda's tide breathing. Shoulders soften. Fingers unhook. Trail team. Students hike near a lava tube. Someone carved low glyphs, 3 slashes and a spiral. The team detours. Ankles unbroken. A caption adds to the campus field guide. Sarin, soft ground, detour. Dorm wall. A small embroidered square appears, a hill shape with a heartbeat stitched in blue thread. Below, letters, portable pack. Compliance office, 4.7a goes live. Containment may be physiological. The bot prints a sticker. Safety is a shape and slaps it on its own chassis. Cafeteria. 2 professors argue about whether comfort is a technology. A student with quills says it's a treaty. XT, campus green. Late night Leda sits on a root bench under lantern leaves. A few classmates drift by, offering small nods that mean they now share a secret. Fear can be taught to keep better company. The professor settles nearby, feathers folded like a tuxedo. Professor, you brought a predator and returned 2 neighbors. Leda shrugs. They taught the class more than I did. Professor, often the best teachers do not know they are teaching. Beat, write your protocol. Attach your errors. We will publish both. Leda smiles. Humans are good at errors. Professor, precisely why you survive. A wind passes, tasting like rain from a world away. Somewhere beyond the city, the run break dens hum. Leda closes her eyes and imagines the flawed rhythm answering back. Narrator, VO. Some species write treaties with ink. Some write them with teeth. On better days, we write them with warm panels, imperfect songs, and the willingness to be a hill, while small, sharp things learn.